already like you. You don't have to like burnish your image with me.
I'm not trying to burnish my image. I'm just trying to be honest and lovely.
God bless you for that. You are lovely. God damn it. Welcome to SNAFU, the show about history's greatest screw-ups. I am your host, Ed Helms, and today I am joined by an incredible documentarian, producer, director, and podcaster extraordinaire with some of the most incredible investigative skills in the biz. A few of his most memorable hits include Missing Richard Simmons, 9/12, The Line, and most recently, the Ambies and Apple Podcast of the Year, Hysterical. And way before all of that, he was also my former colleague from The Daily Show. I am talking about the amazing, illustrious Dan Taberski. Welcome, Dan.
It's me. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm awesome.
Yeah,
it's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's really good to see you, too.
We worked together a very long time ago, and you've done so many incredible things since then, and I am enormously proud of you and proud to know you.
Thank you. I feel the same way about you. It's been half a lifetime since we worked together. Yeah.
Pretty much. When was that? Your Daily Show tenure, I started in 2002 and went to 2006.
I was 99 to 2003.
Okay, yeah. So we overlapped about 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And
2
you
years,
and I,
2 years that we just happened to win a Peabody.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. You tell me.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's why this is our first collaboration since then,
right.
and it's going to win a Peabody.
Right. It's
like
right.
this actual episode.
Knock on wood.
That's what we do. That's how we do it. So you and I collaborated on a number of segments in our Daily Show days, and one of the ones I am most proud of is, in fact, a Dan Taberski segment. A delightful little number called "Guns for Tots." Explain the premise of this segment we did for the Daily Show.
It was this guy who wanted to make sure he was. What was he doing? He was
libertarian.
He was a libertarian. He was a libertarian guy, and he was protesting the existence of a law that was trying to keep guns away from kids. Like if you had a squirt gun, you had to like paint it bright pink so it didn't look like a gun, so some kid didn't get shot by accident by a cop.
Yeah,
and he was just up in arms.
And he felt like this was government overreach.
100%.
That the government would have the audacity to interfere with someone's right to arm their children. And this is all true. This is real. This is the real stuff that we did a satirical piece about. But the real premise was this guy had a very provocative toy drive called Guns for Tots, in which he gave toy guns to children in Harlem, New York. Yeah. And we went and covered it.
And we treated him like
the hero.
He's a warrior. He was a justice warrior. He was
justice warrior.
He was like making a difference, that guy.
I'll never forget the segment closed with him talking about how he can't wait to buy guns for his own children. And we cut to our amazing editor at the time, Einar, had a beautiful little daughter, and do you remember this? We filmed her playing with a toy gun that had been painted black and looked very real.
Looks like a gun.
And it's like the sweetest, most horrifying juxtaposition of a child with what looks like a Glock.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's an amazing visual.
I mean, it's crazy how long ago that was. Well, let's get into today's SNAFU. It's quite a doozy, this one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Imagine this. It's January 1919. You and I are strolling the north end of Boston together on a brisk 40-degree day. For Boston, of course, this is actually shorts and T-shirt weather.
Yeah, super nice.
Now, the north end is Boston's version of Little Italy. At this time, there are about 400,000 people crammed within a square mile of tightly wound streets, enjoying their midday chowders and packing the cars. although
they're Italian though, so like,
oh yeah, right. Packing the cars.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a weird combination.
Yeah, Boston and Italian accent. By cars, of course, I mean horse-drawn carriages and trolleys. At the time, there were over 8,000 of them in the city of Boston. Just to be clear, there were also cars, but it was very early in the automobile time. I think it was still just rich people who had cars at that time.
That must have been such a mess, having to figure out how to navigate cars and horses on the same roads. That must have been really confusing.
That's a great point. I mean, you're right. That transition must have been real hairy for a while.
And did they have horns on for horses? Like when you had a wagon, did you have a horn, or did they just do it with? That's not a bad question. I would be because I know when they got cars, they would have horns, right?
Do horse-drawn carriages have horns? Well, all I know is that the cars of the day sounded a lot like, right? That was like the car horn.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing if you were a conscientious carriage driver, why wouldn't you have a horn on your carriage?
Or bells. Maybe it's bells.
Although they might scare the horses. You got to be careful. I don't know. Man. So picture this. We're back there. It's January 1919, and suddenly the ground starts to shake. Is it an earthquake? Well, no, Dan. It's probably the last thing you'd expect it to be. A 25-foot tall wave of thick brown liquid rushing straight towards us at 35 miles an hour. Any idea what it is?
It's not a tsunami.
No, and it's not sewage either.
Well, that's good that it's not. It's brown. We know it's brown. It's a brown wave.
It's a brown
wave. It's a liquid. It's oil. It's oil.
You're never going to guess.
I don't know what it is.
It's so seemingly random and crazy. It is molasses.
Oh, fuck. That's a mess.
Yeah, it was a massive tsunami of molasses that flooded the north end of Boston. And it was a very dire accident.
Where did it come from?
Okay, we're going to get into all of this. But so just to understand how Boston got itself into this wicked pissa of a predicament, let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. And I'm not going to throw any more Bostonisms out because I can't even do it right.
No, I like them. I think they're fun.
So first, what you have to know is that molasses was a major commodity of the day and a crucial component of the Massachusetts economy in the early 1900s. Are you a fan of molasses? Like, do you ever consume molasses?
No. That feels like a Southern thing to cook with, molasses.
For sure. It's definitely so. I grew up having molasses on like breakfast biscuits and stuff. It's basically like a very, very strong syrup is what it tastes like.
Yes. It's delicious.
Are you aware of the many uses outside of cuisine that molasses can be used for?
Well, I would, because we're talking about Boston, I'm wondering if they use it for like pitching boats and stuff like that. Like, could you use like tar?
Yeah, it's not quite as strong as tar. It's much less viscous than tar. So here are some other uses of molasses. Of course, it's used to make rum.
Okay.
But did you also know that it can be distilled into industrial alcohol and then even broken down into its chemical components for use in explosives? So so it had some very strong industrial uses, and especially at this time because with the outbreak of World War I, there was suddenly a massive increase in demand for industrial alcohol and for explosives. And so therefore also huge demand for molasses.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so they had to have these massive storage tanks all over the country for molasses of all things.
Can I interrupt you one more time?
Yeah.
Where does molasses actually come from? Is it tree sap?
It's made from sugar cane. At this time, it almost all came from the Caribbean.
That's why Caribbean rum is such a thing.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
In 1915, a group called the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, we will heretofore refer to as USIA, saw an opportunity to capitalize on the growing popularity of molasses and began construction on a 3 million gallon tank in Boston's North End.
Wow.
Now, how big do you think this is? Like, if you had to like compare it to something, how big is a 3 million gallon tank?
I mean, it's got to be like just like one of those things like that you see that hold the water tanks, like
at airports, like the
is that like 3 million? Is that I don't know.
I think it's much bigger. This is the size of 4.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools. It's 50 feet tall and 90 feet in diameter.
Wow.
That's a lot of molasses.
That's a lot of molasses. That's incredible.
Yeah. Now, the idea was for USIA to supply their own refineries with raw molasses instead of relying on other companies, thereby cutting out the middleman. And the company was expecting a massive molasses shipment from Cuba. So naturally, USIA, being a large classic American industrial corporation that's all about the bottom line, they needed to rush the construction of this giant molasses tank. So a man named Arthur P. Gell had been hired to oversee the molasses tank project, despite having zero engineering background whatsoever. But he was
G-E-L? J-E-L?
No, J-E-L-L.
Okay, got it.
Arthur P. Gell. Yeah, it is a funny last name, especially considering that we're talking about a viscous substance as well.
Yeah.
He was able to deliver on the two most important criteria, making this thing fast and making it cheap. So allegedly, Gell and his team did not even test this giant vat before putting it into use. You know, you would want to like fill it with water at least and just see if it works. Well, they didn't. They didn't even test it. So right away, this vat is leaking constantly. So much so that neighborhood kids were bringing buckets to catch the drippings for a snack.
Smart.
Are you a finicky eater, or are you like George Costanza?
I mean, if somebody said, "Hey, you want a bucket of molasses?" I wouldn't say no.
Sure.
I wouldn't throw a bucket of molasses out of bed.
I'm not sure it would be good in bed. Although, who knows? So this tank was not working well from the get-go. In fact, every time the tank was filled, the groaning of the metal could be heard by nearby residents, a clear indication that something was amiss with the structural integrity of the tank itself. Complaints naturally came flooding in. So what did this company, USIA, do? Especially because there was so much visible leakage all around the tank. Well, they painted the tank brown to disguise all the leaks. That'll make the problem go away. This is wild. This is really wild because it's something we see a lot in our SNAFU research here at the SNAFU podcast. People do not do the right thing. Just trying to cover their tracks or put Band-Aids on terrible situations is like the norm. That's like, you know.
That's what leads to snafus.
It is. Well, so this might surprise you. Molasses tank failures were not uncommon during this time period. They happened all over the U.S.
That's incredible.
Yeah. They happened all over the U.S., from New Orleans to Oakland to Hoboken. But on the flip side, most tanks were also not this enormous.
Right.
Like absolutely massive. On January 15th, 1919, a ship arrived from the Caribbean to pump a huge delivery of fresh, warm molasses into the tank. Now, this is important to know. Like a lot of liquids, as molasses gets warmer, it flows much quicker. It has a lower viscosity. As it gets colder, it gets way more viscous, and it flows very, very slowly. And thicker. As soon as they pumped this tank full of molasses, something is off right away. No one considered the fact that the tank was already half full of cold molasses due to the previous day's freezing New England temperatures. It's kind of like pouring super hot coffee into a freezing cold glass. It shatters, right? Because that is thermal shock. This actually happened in my kitchen a bunch of years ago. I pour bacon grease into a cup and then put it in the fridge to let it harden, and then I throw it away. Do you do that? Is that like a...
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because you can't pour it down the sink because it'll clog your sink. So you put it in the fridge and it hardens, and then you can just sort of flip it out into your trash can. So I had done this and forgotten about it. And so it was like this cold bacon grease in my fridge. Then I made more bacon. I like bacon. I don't know what to tell you.
Jesus Christ.
And
who cooks bacon? That's what century is this?
What are you talking about?
You like fry up a pan of bacon in your house? I've literally never. I'm sorry. I'm just a little shocked.
You've never cooked bacon in your house? What planet are you from?
Meat is murder.
This is America.
I
We
did
murder
as a child.
meat.
As a child, I just like a rasher of bacon is just, I don't know. It's these very old fat. Well, I guess you're having molasses too.
I'm from Georgia. We eat bacon. So I had another hot bacon grease, and I'm going to dispose of it. So I just grab the cold glass of cold grease from previously, pour the hot grease in it, and it sheared. It broke a perfect break along at the line of the cold grease and the hot grease. And I was holding a ring of glass, like in a perfectly clean break. And then, of course, all the bacon grease shattered all over the floor with broken glass.
Wow.
And one of the biggest messes I've ever made.
That's pretty gross,
My girlfriend at the time, now wife, helped me clean it up. And I was like, this is an amazing person who is willing to help me clean up bacon grease and broken glass. That's a horrible mess.
Yeah. But it actually sounds like it mimics exactly what's about to happen with the molasses.
That is part of what is about to go down in this massive molasses tank. So people stated at the time that they heard a rumble, thinking it was a passing train, and then actually they started to hear machine gun-like sounds, which were actually the fasteners popping off the tank. Now, all of this happened right in the midst of lunch hour when everyone was out and about enjoying their warmer-than-usual January day. I don't even know if anyone knows what a machine gun is in 1920, but I'm still like getting out of there. The gigantic vat bulged and broke. Wow. And in a flash, 2.3 million gallons of molasses formed a massive wave and rushed into the north end of Boston. A New York Times report described the event as, quote, a dull, muffled roar gave but an instant's warning before the top of the tank was blown into the air. Wagons, carts, and motor trucks were overturned. A number of horses were killed. The street was strewn with debris intermixed with molasses, and all traffic was stopped.
Wow.
It's kind of funny that they ended on all traffic was stopped, which seems like the most benign part of the incident. And all traffic was stopped.
The horses thing was really
a lot of people died too, Dan. We're getting to that. Yeah,
well, the horses, but I'm just thinking about the people having to clean up the dead horses and molasses. That's a mess.
This is a massive snafu. It was an incredibly tragic event. So the swell moved at 35 miles an hour, which is at the average speed of a cheetah. The molasses was initially We try to give you context, Dan.
No, I love it. I get it.
So any cheetahs in the north end of Boston that day were fine because they got out in time. So the molasses was initially warm from being initially added to the tank, but it quickly cooled as it spread through the streets. And this cooling caused it to thicken and become more viscous, making rescue efforts extremely challenging. Here's a haunting quote from the Boston Post the next day. Horses died like so many flies on sticky fly paper. The more they struggled, the deeper in the mess they were ensnared. Human beings, men and women, suffered likewise. Whew. It's grim.
Wow.
It's really grim. So molasses is also 1.5 times more dense than water. So if you're in its path, you weren't just like washed away. You were pummeled by this stuff.
Yeah. You're getting hit by it.
Yeah. It's It even pushed an entire firehouse off its foundation.
Wow.
Yeah. Are you good in a disaster like this?
I think I would probably be a mess at first, but I think if it was a long-term disaster, I think I would be one of the ones. Like, I can do apocalypse. I feel like I'm ready for that to go down.
I have a very strong urge to help. I will run towards someone in peril, but I can't guarantee you I'm not going to go into shock.
Right. Yeah.
So whole buildings were crushed by this wave, and the remaining pools of molasses were 1 to 3 feet deep in some areas. According to records, 150 people were injured and 21 were tragically killed in the flood, many of whom worked for the harbor near the vat's location. Injuries were severe. Patients were carried into a makeshift hospital with broken backs and fractured skulls. Really dire stuff.
Wow.
Red Cross workers and a troop of 116 Navy cadets who were nearby actually tried to swim through the molasses to rescue people, but to no avail. At nightfall, the weather got cold, even colder, and the molasses got even harder and thicker. So rescue efforts just became next to impossible. Bodies were now getting trapped in amber-like crystallization. So it's almost like that mosquito in Richard Attenborough's
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
in his cane. But yeah, very, very grim. So we do have some photos. I'm going to show you. This is an elevated train structure that was just like massively.
Wow.
Yeah, it almost knocked it over.
Wow. Oh my God. They must have been such a mess. Like everybody just must have been covered in this shit.
Yeah, because it's like, yes, it's a tragedy, but it's also sticky and gooey. We have another photo as well. This next one is damage on Commercial Street. You can actually see the collapsed tank in the center of this image, just in front of the white-colored building.
Wow. There. Wow, that's so cool.
The rescue effort went on for 4 entire days, mainly recovering bodies. The devastation was immense. Most of the victims had either suffocated or were crushed by debris that came through the flood. The north end was a mess, and molasses coated the debris, making it, like to your point, it was insanely hard to clean up. But they did finally find a hack. There was a really interesting discovery on how to clean up molasses. Any idea how to clean up molasses?
It feels like one of those tricks where, remember, there would be a plate of water and you'd put like pepper and salt in it, and then you'd put a drop of soap in the middle, and it sends everything to the edge. I feel like it's something like that. Like it's some sort of like combination of things that makes it dissipate.
Okay, it's not that dramatic, but it is clever. Like I wouldn't have thought of it off the top of my head, but it turns out seawater helps dissolve molasses.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
I don't know why, but it does. And so, yeah, they started pumping water in from the Boston Harbor. And after weeks of hosing down the whole area, the city was finally rid of the icky, sticky goo. Wow. Most of the molasses was washed into the Boston Harbor itself, and residents reported that the water was brown for weeks. If only this coincided with the Boston Tea Party, right? Because then they might actually have a yummy new concoction floating around the
history.
Like fate. Tea and molasses, a little Earl Grey with molasses in the Boston Harbor.
Actually, that sounds nice. I can't believe I've never heard of that. That's such a strange thing.
It's one of those weird things where it smells good. So it's like a horrible tragedy, but with a good smell. I remember reading reports from these Iraq war veterans who talked about walking through carnage and being, very traumatized by what they're seeing, but also like a cologne delivery truck had exploded. And so there was this like weird sweet stench of cologne washing over while they're looking at this carnage. And the cognitive dissonance of it was very traumatic for these guys.
Isn't that there was something about that happened in New York as well, where every once in a while in New York, a smell will come over from New Jersey, and if it's a sweet smell.
Oh yeah, it was a mystery. It was like a pancake smell.
Yes,
I remember that.
And I think there are situations where actually that's like a bad sign if that happens. Something's wrong.
Something's about to explode.
There's molasses is involved.
Yeah. New York City stinks. Like New York City does not smell good. And if it suddenly does smell good,
it's scary.
That's alarming. That's unsettling.
It's alarming.
It's like, no, someone's got to pee or take a shit right near me so that just to normalize this. Because, But I remember that with the pancake smell, they couldn't identify it I don't know if they ever did, but.
I don't think they did.
That was wild. This one where they cleaned it with seawater, that is a stark replacement, right? Because seawater don't smell good.
Yeah.
So
sure.
if you're like washing seawater through the streets, that's gonna
Nothing smelled good back then. It was just all horse shit and molasses.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like it was. Nothing smelled good.
So what happened next? Countless accusations were thrown around in the weeks following the disaster. A class action lawsuit, of course, Door versus the United States Industrial Alcohol Company was filed by 119 residents. Okay, so this is wild. USIA blamed Italian anarchists
Oh, interesting.
For an attack on the molasses tank. The accusation had an inkling of plausibility to it because anarchists had targeted USIA facilities during the war.
Anarchists doing bombings were a big deal in the early part of the century.
That's absolutely true. The good old blame the anarchists excuse. Do you have any good get out of jail cards? Any good excuses?
Anarchists? Yeah, I blame anarchists.
You take responsibility.
I take responsibility. I take responsibility.
Come on, Dan. I already like you. You don't have to burnish your image with me.
I'm not trying to burnish my image. I'm just trying to be honest and lovely.
I'm just trying to be honest and lovely. God bless you for that. Totally. You are lovely. God damn it.
Thank you. Mission accomplished.
You are a goddamn lovely person. All right. Back to it. Italian Americans who were often discriminated against and accused of being criminals at that time were the ones thrown under the bus here. After all, the VAT was put in the distinct neighborhood of the North End because residents couldn't advocate for themselves. This is obviously a very common practice in the United States. Low-income neighborhoods are often the sites of industrial processes and wastelands. So the North End was majority Italian, and only 25% of these Italians were actually citizens at the time with the ability to vote or affect change of any kind. The corporations knew they were safe to effectively misbehave in these environments, which is very tragic. These corporations are not lovely like you. They are not lovely like you.
They don't even try.
No, they are very un-Taberski-like. And I don't like that.
It's not nice.
This lawsuit was one of the earliest class actions in the state of Massachusetts and one of the first examples of pursuing corporate accountability and regulation. The lawsuit took several years. Over 1,000 people testified, including family of the victims, and there were 1,500 evidence exhibits. The defense spent tens of thousands of dollars on expert witnesses, and the judge, Hugh W. Ogden, was a war veteran who allegedly hated anarchists. Essentially, everyone felt that this case was a massive long shot for the plaintiffs. What do you think? How are you feeling about their odds? We all love a courtroom drama.
Yeah, but Italians back then, I don't think they won. I think they lost.
Surprise, surprise. April 28th, 1925, Judge Ogden shockingly ruled in favor of the plaintiffs. I mean, I say shocking because of your correct assumptions that it was very unusual at the time, even though it was obviously the right thing to do. So for anyone keeping score at home, that means they were deliberating testimonies for nearly 5 whole years before the decision was made. Yeah. The USIA's claim of anarchist sabotage was tossed aside like a stale Boston brown bread loaf. Instead, the USIA just go with it.
All right. I didn't say a word.
Instead, the USIA was then made to pay the victims' families, the city of Boston, and the Boston Elevated Railroad Company $628,000 in damages, close to $11 million in today's dollars. What would you do if you just came into a massive windfall like that, Dan?
I would enjoy the feeling that I'll have enough money to live till I die. I would just hang on to it.
All right.
I mean, I'm expecting bad things in the future.
Even if it was, I know you would splurge on something, even if it's just something at CVS. What would you, if you suddenly knew you were rich beyond your wildest dreams, what would
beyond my wildest dreams?
Or would you just go on Amazon and be like, yes, I want that wall charger. I want that.
I've always thought it would be interesting. I wouldn't want to ride a motorcycle, nothing too loud, but I've always thought it would feel really nice to, a chopper, to be driving slow, down the. So I think I could really get into that and drive around, do a little Zen on the Other motorcycle maintenance and just tour the country and find myself with my motorcycle.
And not just a motorcycle, but a chopper with the wheel way out front.
Well, I like that feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't go that fast on that. It feels a little more sturdy than a regular. I like that. Just you can't.
I like that too.
I'm looking for a buddy to go driving with.
Head out on the highway, looking for adventure.
What would you do? What would you do if you just came into a bunch of money?
I feel like it would be a ton of little dumb things. I would just go to my favorite catalogs and be like, "Hi, that shirt, this."
Yeah, totally.
No, but if there was a big splurge, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a helicopter pilot.
Huh.
I don't know. I just think they're so cool.
Would you buy a helicopter?
I guess. I mean, how do you be a helicopter pilot? Like, do you rent them? How does it work?
I think you could rent
They seem very expensive.
I think
not
it's
very practical.
Right. Or maybe you share them. Maybe you buy a share in a helicopter or something like that. Helicopter pilot would be fun, actually.
Obviously, helicopters we use them in movies all the time. And on Hangover 2, when we were shooting in Bangkok on this speedboat, and this helicopter pilot who's supposedly like the best camera chopper pilot was like zooming. We're going like 60 miles an hour on this speedboat, and he's like zooming right all around us. Wow. And at one point, he's like, we're zooming this way, and he's going along next to us. Like the chopper's flying sideways. Next to us, which is called crabbing. It's like going sideways, but it's 60 miles an hour, and he just sticks his hand out the window and waves at us.
Oh, wow.
We're like 2 hands on the wheel, buddy.
Wow. That must feel like freedom. That must feel incredible to be riding around. It's something that facile that like turns like that and stands still. Yeah, it's amazing.
And it was so terrifying for us because we were flying so close, but also just an absolute thrill.
That must have been one of those days where just half the fun is like, I can't believe we're doing this.
Oh my God, there's
amazing.
So many of every day to me on a movie set is I can't believe I'm doing this. It is truly the most fun thing in the world. I can't believe I get to do it.
Oh, that's nice.
So this lawsuit was one of the earliest class actions in Massachusetts and one of the first examples of pursuing corporate accountability and regulation. They proved that a corporation could be held accountable for negligence, putting a pin in the era of unquestioned support for big business. And this was the beginning of a greater governmental oversight and regulations. In essence, a small way of setting the groundwork for FDR's New Deal politics and infrastructure reform a few decades later. It does make me think of this story, that this story would make a good documentary, Dan. When you start to approach a story, how often do you sort of have assumptions or expectations of what the ending might be?
Usually if I'm doing something, I will go into it with like 3 or 4 possibilities of what I think the ending is. So you can't just go blind. But I always have some idea so that if one way doesn't work out, I'm not screwed. There's still another sort of way to sort of finish the story in a satisfying way. So I like to consider the possibilities and hopefully one of them will be the one that happens. That's how I do it. But I like complexity. I really do. It's what makes it interesting.
Sure. And there's that old adage about documentaries that the best ones are the sort of ones that make a left turn somewhere in the process. Your amazing piece, The Line, about the Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher, that was an incredible – that had a very surprising ending to me because
sure did.
You kind of like – somehow how you handled him as an interview subject gave him a sense of safety or comfort or wanting to be transparent or something powerful that I won't spoil for listeners, but he shared some just really breathtaking points of view that I was very very affected and moved and stunned by that one.
Wow. Oh, that's so nice of you to say. Yeah, it was an absolutely incredible conversation, and I was stunned as well. And I listened to that like 6 months ago. I was looking for something and just trying to remember how it went down. And still, like I can't believe he said the things he said. And it was really a shocker. It was a shocker, but fascinating.
Well, I think it's due in large part to how lovely you are, Dan Taberski.
Oh, thank you. That's what he said, too.
Yeah, of course.
He said, Dan, I know I'm a Navy SEAL, but you're pretty lovely. Thanks, man.
So jumping back into it, here's a fun fact. The molasses industry in Boston never regained its prominence. Investigations were
What a sad story.
Yeah. Investigations were opened in the years following, and they found a host of problems with the tank construction. The tank was made with too little of the metal manganese, so it was too brittle in temperatures below 60 degrees, which for Boston would be like most of the time.
Yeah, totally.
And the steel used was thinner than would be specified in the plans Due to the scrutiny and the years-long lawsuit, USIA never built a new tank and eventually shuttered the doors of their Boston production plant entirely. Without the molasses giant, the Boston molasses industry collapsed. So clearly the impact of this event stuck both in the hearts of those in Boston and in the history of corporate regulation that we see today. After the flood, Boston was tacky for weeks. No winks there. I'm using the word tacky literally.
Yeah.
But Boston was tacky for weeks. And legend has it that on hot summer days, it still smells like molasses.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It must have been weeks and weeks and weeks to get that sort of stickiness and smell out. I mean, it's really amazing.
Yeah, molasses is no joke. Yeah,
it's no joke.
Like you don't want, like it's hard to get that out of a shirt.
Yes.
Let alone out of a city. I love this story. It's a tragic story in Boston's history. It's such a city-specific story that it reminds me of the Great Fires of Chicago or San Francisco. It's like, and it has that because it's molasses, it has this kind of apocryphal feel that is like so wild, like the like Miss O'Leary's cow in Chicago that kicked over the lantern, supposedly. Yeah. These stories sort of reach almost like fable status. Or sort of like urban mythology, but they're totally true.
Yeah,
100% true.
It's incredible.
I did a little bit of digging and found that class action lawsuits have reached an all-time high in the last 3 years, with over $159 billion in settlements. Now, class action suits obviously have their pros and cons. While they might help a broader group to gain lower cost of litigation and incentivize them to pursue their rights, they've also drawn criticism for leading to lower payouts, inflated benefits to lawyers, and loss of individual control. But I've always thought the right to class action suit is actually quite inspiring and a great tool for consumer protection. It's almost like the right to collective bargaining on like for unions, like when, large groups of people that don't have a voice, when they work together, can actually have a very powerful voice. And I've always thought the anti-union sentiment in our country is very confusing, especially coming from the right, because it's such a free speech. To me, it's the ultimate expression of free speech. It's just saying like, how can we get together and be a louder voice when traditionally it's the wealthy and the powerful that have the loudest voices.
Well, it's also part of how you make economies, where especially with things like class action lawsuits and labor unions, like it's how you make economies work more efficiently. Like if you don't let individuals act as groups to sort of increase their power to the size that it should be, then you're not. It's all then the whole thing's out of whack.
All right, Dan Taberski, is there anything in your professional world that you can plug or talk about or spill any beans, tease us with the exciting things that you're up to? You're one of my favorite podcasters in the world. What's on deck?
I'm working on two things. Both will come out next year, both of which I can't disclose, but I think they're both going to be good. They're different.
Good.
And the one that's coming out next actually has Italian anarchists in the 1920s, which I was so excited to talk about.
All right.
So it's connected.
As I said earlier, go do a deep dive on Dan Taberski's work so that you're prepared for how awesome these upcoming projects are going to be. And also, your oeuvre. I like that. Good word.
Thanks.
And also, congratulations to both of us for winning a Peabody on this episode, I assume. And
I'll see you at the awards ceremony.
Yeah. Dan, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's so fun to see you and hang out. Thanks for being here.
So great to see you, man. Anytime.
All right. Cheers. SNAFU is a production of iHeart Podcasts and SNAFU Media, a partnership between Film Nation Entertainment and Pacific Electric Picture Company. Our post-production studio is Gilded Audio. Our executive producers are me, Ed Helms, Mike Falbo, Glenn Basner, Andy Kim, Whitney Donaldson, and Dylan Fagan. This episode was produced by Alyssa Martino and Tori Smith. Our video editor is Jared Smith. Technical direction and engineering from Nick Dooley. Our creative executive is Brett Harris. Logo and branding by The Collected Works. Legal review from Dan Welsh, Megan Halson, and Caroline Johnson. Special thanks to Isaac Dunham, Adam Horn, Lane Klein, and everyone at iHeart Podcasts, but especially Will Pearson, Carrie Lieberman, Nikki Etor, Nathan Otoski, and Alex Corral. While I have you, don't forget to pick up a copy of my book, SNAFU, the definitive guide to history's greatest screw-ups. It's available now from any book retailer. Just go to snafu-book.com. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.